Okay, welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes. Let me silence my phone. Tonight is the after show for The Walking Dead Season 2. It's Season 8, Episode 2, yada, yada, yada. I'm stumbling because I want to get this out there real quick, and everyone let me know, just a couple of you, if the microphone's good and we're all set. If you're new here, we do a 15 minutes where I talk only about the first impression review, and then we're gonna shut that down and then go right into the same live stream. We're gonna go right into the fan feedback from you guys, where we can kick around our thoughts and opinions about the episode. There's also something else. Oh yeah, I got maybe 150 messages of people asking me if I'm doing a live stream. This is every single Sunday night, every single Walking Dead, unless something happens and I'm in the hospital, or I don't know, the webcam explodes. Every single Sunday night. I was like 10 minutes late just dealing with my phone blowing up about people asking about the live stream. We're going to dive right into my thoughts and opinions in this episode. Are probably going to be real quick. The first thing, and this is a spoiler, obviously, so first thing I want to talk about that's the most important about tonight, my Stranger Things shirt. How badass is that? This is a retro look. My daughter said I'd be cool if I picked it up. I got it at Target. It was the last one left. So I'm hoping it makes me look cooler than I really am in real life. Because I'm pretty fucking cool. No, seriously, the biggest thing everyone wants me to talk about is Morales, and I'm probably going to disappoint a lot of you. I did not want Morales on. I think it's absolute asinine ridiculousness. However, I want to say something because story-wise, every time something happens, we see boots in the ground. Remember when we saw boots and everyone went, oh, it's Morales. Something happens that's a mystery and, oh, it's Morales. I mean, holy hell. What if we don't get Dwight? What if Morales is Dwight? Like, really stupid shit. And I've always been against it. Always. The one time where I actually thought they might really bring Morales back is when they showed us that sneak peek of Carl, and they were mirroring episode 1. And then Scott Gimple later, like 2 days later, said, yes, there's going to be callbacks to episode 1. Throughout the season, we're going to be doing some stuff. And I was like, man, they might. They just might. Luckily, I've avoided so many spoilers until that little prick, Trevs-chan. What a dick. Now, keep in mind, I have nothing against the guy, except for this one thing. It came up on I was uploading the Stranger Things videos the other night, 2 nights ago. Season 2 dropped. And I always check the video to make sure it's good after it uploads. Almost all the time there's never a problem, but once in a while there's an issue. And under the recommended videos was a spoiler video with a thumbnail that just was like, Morales, yeah, oh, familiar face, question mark. And it's like, son of a bitch, you asshole. Why put that in the thumbnail? Now, Trev's okay minus that shit. What a dick. Anyway, now about Morales being in the actual episode, I think it's awesome for the actor. I mean, I think it would suck imagine if they cast me for Stranger Things, season 1, and I had this small role and I left. Stranger Things became huge, and I was like, man, it'd be so cool to be able to go back, and all the fans were like, fuck Ronnie, his character sucked, no way. And then I didn't get to go back because the people were like, no. For the actor, I think that is incredible, unless he's a dick about it, and he's like, I'm better than that, and then, okay, you. But for him, being able to come back to the show, I think that's awesome, and I'm like thrilled for him, happy for him. He was able to come back. In that aspect, I think it's awesome for him. You know what I mean? We get one life, That's a gift. Being able to come back, that's just so cool. Story-wise, there's been enough time. The distance is an issue. Yes, right off the bat, you see Morales, and I'm like, come on. You have so many people I noticed in the comments who were like, who's Morales? And I'm not talking about, there's a difference between the active online fan base and then that casual viewer that doesn't follow a lot of online Walking Dead stuff, but they still comment. You ever see those viewers? And there's a lot of them out there that do that. So many people are like, I don't know who that guy is. Yeah, you're not going to know. So I'm split. I think the way they did it, for now, is good enough for me where I'm not hating on it. There's another part of me that's just thinking, it's been so long, the distance, the probability. At least Morgan had a map. Where's Morales' map, Anyhow, that's where I land on the Morales stuff. The other thing, and then we'll dive back into this episode, the other thing is ratings. Everyone wanted me to talk about the ratings for the premiere. I don't think that's a topic. There's nothing to worry about is what I'm saying. It's a non-issue. That's why I didn't even make a video on it. They got 11 million for the live, and I've seen a lot of people comparing that to episodes where they count more than one day. It's like the other ones have a live +3, a live +5, and some people are throwing these numbers up, and they're not accurate because the 11 million was whoever watched, I believe, right at that time. That's what that number. But when you calculate everyone who watched later on, when they got off of work, when they got their DVR, and yes, they have a system that counts all the views. I see so many comments that say, they can't count, this, and this. They can count it all. They've got it. There's a whole organization that handles the ratings. They got it. That's what they do for a living, And I think there was like 15 million that watched the premiere, like +3 or something, or maybe even +7. It doesn't matter. The Walking Dead is in no danger at all. When it drops below 5 million, you can message me and say, hey, what do you think? Is it in danger? Then I will say it's in danger of having its budget cut, but it will not be canceled. And then after the budget cuts, it'll run the risk of getting canceled after a season or two. So that's the rating stuff. This episode kicks off with a badass drive-by. I like that. You could recognize some of the saviors, and they're like prepping and shit. And then our team rolls up with that bomb-ass wall armored thing. I mentioned they're probably going to hit an outpost in my analyzed, and that's another thing. If you're new here, after a couple days I released the big video, which is the ultimate in-depth analyzed. A lot of people asked me, Ronnie, I miss your in-depth reviews, and I kept having to point them in the direction. Come back to the channel and look it up. It takes me a few days to get that done. So if you're new here, come back in a few days. I'm going to get an analyzed video. And I mentioned it because Aaron was in the trailer. All we got to do is pin them down, And then, so they roll up, and this girl savior's like, oh, they're too weak, or they're too pussy to come and attack us. Hold them off. And that one walker started getting up, and it clicked with me like it clicked with her. She was like, oh, shit. That was their plan. They didn't have to rush in. I got so excited because that is strategic genius. Corner them in, kill as many as possible, and just take pot shots, kill some here and there, but let the dead get up and kill them, or distract them and kill them. And I'm kind of disappointed they didn't show more of that, because that was such an epic moment. They showed the girl, which I will say this is a little bit of a negative. She didn't fight back. Like, if you're trying to get up and eat me alive and rip out my throat, like if you're trying to cut my throat, I'm gonna gouge my fingers in your eyes. I'm gonna rip the flesh off your body before you even get the chance. But if you want to bite my throat out, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'm going to flail and kick and scream and run the hell up out of there. And she was just kind of like, oh, he's close. He already got me. Oh, here you go. It's just like, what, bitch? Fight, So that was a little bit of a negative, but I really wish they showed how the zombies distracted them, and then they were able to get the jump on them. They might still, because there's a continuation, it appears, for the next episode. But that moment, for me personally, once the strategy was revealed, loved it. I see someone said Morales is Negan. Yeah, people actually said that in a legit prediction. Dude, I think it would be so boss and out of nowhere if they line them up. And out of the trailer, well, they didn't say that part, but they said, out of the crowd walks Morales Negan. And it's like, oh, fuck, what? So, we have the Kingdom group, Ezekiel's men. Ezekiel, I like Ezekiel in parts. Ezekiel has parts where it's too much of that theatrics shit, and I kind of go, okay, wrap it up. Then he has moments, and I'm like, yeah, I like him. I like him so far a lot better than the comic Ezekiel. Comic Ezekiel, I feel like they failed me because they built him up as visually amazing, and then he had this interesting story about him. But then when he got to fighting, he was a little bit of a bitch, and that kind of took you out of the moment, I don't want them to do that with. I want them to carolize Ezekiel. Don't have Ezekiel as a bitch. Have Ezekiel as a warrior. Have him go through something that crushes his soul. Sure. Have him lose hope. Sure. but don't make him like this little bitty bitch, you know? So I'm hoping, and it doesn't seem like they're going in that direction. I do think they're going to crush him, but I don't think they're going to turn him into a little bitty bitch. Anyhow, so I do like moments with Ezekiel, and I'm still wondering how the hell does Shiva know who to eat and who not to eat? It was funny in season 7, the last episode. It was a little bit of a, okay, you know, but come on. How does she know? Like a guy running in the woods. I think it'd be neat if they were able to show people rubbing something on them, and then Ezekiel knows that odor, you know? Okay, don't. You know what I mean? Is that too stupid? That might be too stupid. Anyhow, Morgan, beast mode. What else can you say? You guys can go back and watch it. Well, you can't watch it, but in season 2, a lot of people were shitting on Rick. I held strong with Rick, and look at that. People love him. A lot of people were shitting on Father Gabriel. I held strong with Father Gabriel mainly because I love the actor from The Wire. Very talented actor, and he has a lot of range. And now people are loving Father Gabriel. I held on with Morgan, even though he did irritate me a couple times here and there. And now people are loving Morgan. It feels good because Lenny James, and I'm holding on to a lot of the actors who have like a lot of range and they can utilize them too. Because their redemption is going to be a lot more meaningful, especially coming from you know, really highs and lows. Like Gabriel really pissed me off when he said that shit because he saw the Terminus people. He went and saw their camp. How could he ever get it twisted in his head and talk against Rick and their crew after that? So I got real mad at him. Same thing with Gabriel. I'm sorry, with Morgan. I got pissed at him for a little bit, but still, I understood where he was coming from and his background and stuff. But now I love it. He goes on a beat. First, he does get clipped, and I don't know if it went through his armor or just knocked him out, but it did knock him out. And then how he said, "I don't die," as a curse in the woods, as his... You remember back in season 3 where he said, people like me, we live on and on, when he was talking to Rick about his son dying, or Morgan's son, and how people like him, the weak, they live, they inherit the earth. I believe that's what he said. And then in this one, he tells the guy, "I don't die, don't back me up," you know? And then later on, Morgan wakes up and he's looking at that guy dead. I love that. Because this is his curse. He woke up, he sees this guy, he's still alive, he gets up and goes beast mode. Real quick, let me stop. Did they really kill that dude off screen? Remember the guy who Daryl broke his arm? Is it, I always forget his damn name. What's his name? Put it in the comment box. But Daryl broke his arm, and they took him, and he's the guy who said, when Rick punched the zombie's head, and he was like, the saviors are scary, but they got nothing on you. Did they really kill him off screen? For real? That's kind of messed up. So anyhow, Morgan gets up, and he just goes nuts. It's wicked. And he walks out, and I love how the sunlight kind of just snaps him out of it. He started getting into that mode, which is nice that they're still showing this, that Morgan still has issues, and he can still have, he might still be more dangerous than we would like him to be, you know, which is great. Loved it. And I stand by my prediction. In the Ultimate Trailer Breakdown videos, I made a big, huge prediction, 2 parts, and I talked about how they're going to capture people. I was right on that. That's awesome. They kind of showed it in the trailer, so I can't really pat myself on the back too much for that one, but they did show they captured Gavin, and I still think that Morgan's going to get mad. Everyone's asking, why is Morgan trying to fight Jesus? I still believe Morgan's going to get pissed about this and want to kill Gavin, and maybe Jesus and him have a little scuffle because of it. I think that's why they're fighting. Anyhow, did you guys notice them taking Polaroids in the background? I freaking love this. First off, it's our boy Peter Zimmerman. He plays Eduardo from The Hilltop. He's in the background taking the pictures when Morgan was having that moment with Gavin and stuff. And it's just freaking like the saviors in the background taking pictures of Glenn and Abraham. Holy shit, I love that. Love that little... I love how they didn't zoom in and make a deal out of it. It was just like, boom, there it is in the background. They know we're going to analyze this stuff or overanalyze it. Love that shit. And then we have Rick killing a guy and going in and finding the baby. That was like a gut punch. I'm still wondering what's going to happen with that. Is that going to be something where it's just in the moment, or they're going to take that baby? Obviously, Rick isn't going to kill the baby, but they're going to take the baby and take care of it at like the Hilltop or something like that. Last week, they showed a preview, I am almost positive, of Daryl driving away and Rick walking away, and Rick's like all bloody. We know now how he gets bloody. We know he gets out of this, because they showed us that damn preview. So what? So he gets out of this and he gets captured by the trash people somehow? Because he is captured in the trailer. I don't know. That part was a little bit weird. So maybe the saviors take the baby, and they do something with it. But it doesn't matter what happens with the baby. I'm just saying. So then we got the tiger. I talked about that. That was a pretty cool scene. Eric being gut hit. I like a lot of the action here. And listen, there's a lot of fans that were asking me, what is it specifically about the scenes that I did not enjoy, the action moments in Fear the Walking Dead? And if you want to go back, this is a perfect example. They take the shot, nice and smooth. It has movement to it to give it that active feel, like the Steadicam type of feel, but not a lot. It comes up, you see the placement of all the characters, so you don't know who's doing what and when. They're showing the gunfire, and it cranes all the way down in one shot, and it shows where the people are ducking, and then people are popping in and out. Watch that and compare it to the crazy, insanely edited mess where you don't know what anyone is doing until after they do it, and it's like, okay, they're still alive, And I don't like comparing the two shows, but I wanted to highlight that because now is a moment where you can see what I'm talking about specifically. Because when you see the action here, it is directed well, where you can tell where everyone is, and you don't get lost in the confusion of everything. So the action was off the hook. And in the comic book, we can talk about this now because it hasn't happened on screen, and it most likely won't happen. But there's a really quick voiceover. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a voiceover by Ezekiel, and we won't go into that. But they show us panels of Rick and gang winning against this outpost. However, in the bum rush, it was only one panel. In the bum rush, Eric is shot in the head in that panel. And I like how they did it with Eric. I was expecting him to get shot in the head. Aaron makes it to him, and here they reveal he's shot in the gut. I like little changes like that because they can still kind of mix it up. Now watch later in the next episode, they're running away and Eric still gets popped in the head. I thought that might be a possibility, but that would suck if they do that. I think that is awesome because Eric was stepping it up. They need to have... This gets a little tricky too because Eric's a character who we see him in bits and pieces. He is in it. He has his little moments. He had a couple moments in the previous season and then now, but if you give them too much moments, then you're like, oh, he's going to die here. And I don't know. This is risky. I stand by when you have a certain cast, right? You need those supporting characters. And essentially their importance rests on what they do for other characters. Eric should never be a main character. He's not designed, that character is not made for that. It should be made for affecting Aaron's life, essentially, if you look at the structure of it. So I'm happy with what they did with Eric. I think he died. He died helping give everyone else the lives they want. He died for that. So he definitely has an honorable death if he does die, which he probably will because he's gut shot. And gut shot, he shouldn't live from it, all right? But you never know. Rick was gut shot, but it was on the side, so there's no vital organs on the side. So, or apparently... From the Scream movies. No, you're not supposed to have any vital organs on the side. That's probably bullshit. Morales facing the past. Oh, yeah. There was one snippet I heard on Talking Dead. When they came on, that was one of the first things they talked about. I was setting everything up, and I heard Gimple say something about facing the past. And this is also similar to what he was talking about previously, what we touched on, about the callbacks from the past. Before he was talking about callbacks and... hold on a second. Oh, you already got him. Good shit. The mods are on point. Nuck figures. Yeah, he's getting blocked. I don't tolerate racism, so you might as well just block yourselves, people. Come on. Between the mods and me, you're not going to get away with it, so take your 10-year-old ass out of here and go to bed. It's past your bedtime. Facing the past is something that Gimple was talking about for Rick. Like, he's not the same person. Morales is not the same person. And I'm interested to see where they're going to go. Keep in mind, we did see that Rick clearly walks away from this soon because he's still freshly bloody, in the preview. So he's going to get out of this rather quickly, I would imagine. Does that mean Morales dies? Is Morales going to continue on for a few episodes? I hope he doesn't. Just from what we've seen, I'm glad the actor was able to come back, and that's awesome. But to be such a dick, like, oh, hey, Rick, time has passed. I'm calling Negan. What a little bitch, you know? At least give your old peoples a head start. Like, oh, you little punk bitch. Where's your loyalty? Anyhow, I think that's pretty much it. This episode is a real good episode. It is not anywhere near the hype that was given for it. And I think a lot of people overhype the Morales stuff. A lot of people were like, oh my God, something is going to happen in this that's going to be so, like, it's going to melt your face. And I'm sorry, like, Morales coming back is neat, but it's nowhere near mind-blowing. It's not like melt your face nuts. I thought it was just one of those things where it's like, oh, huh. Yeah, so was that Eduardo with the Polaroid taking a pic? Yes, he did. So, yeah, based off of that, I maybe that's the one moment where a lot of the fans talk and said it's going to be like, however, everything as a whole, I still enjoyed it. I still really like it as a war episode, especially revealing the strategy there. That was one of my favorite moments, like that realization. I almost wish we would have had a little bit more. I mean, that seems kind of silly when I think about like a little bit more of the war and the battle, but there was a part of me that wanted a little bit more of that moment. Like, I kind of feel like I wanted that to be the crushing blow. And maybe it was, you know, maybe it was. Maybe I got to go back and rewatch it, or maybe they're going to continue this in the next, you know, the next episode. So let's see what we got to say from you guys. We have 22 minutes. Okay, so we have 22 minutes of a discussion, first impression review. That's what it's called. I forgot what it was called. Oh, it's not going to let me do that? Oh, you asshole. So we had 20 minutes of a first impression review. Those who are not interested anymore in hearing the fan feedback, you can go now. We're going to shut it down, and we are going to dive right into the fan feedback from you guys.